the same team. So imagine the possible crowd control and disruption that Vietnam has for this game. So one good counter for Malaysia that was picked by the team is the Grok. So knowing that they have the Grok on this lineup, probably in terms of initiation, she might want to go and be the front liner, right? With the power of nature, but definitely this is a different rotation for Malaysia. From the previous games, we usually see the XP lane together with the roamer only, not with the post 4.
And right now we are seeing a XP lane Minsitar, and if we look at the entire composition of Vietnam, it counters a lot of mobility. We have the real-world manipulation from Daisy, the Bloody Hunt, and the Iron Hook from Tuma, and also the King's Calling and another hook coming in from Ngokbe. So in terms of minimizing mobility coming in from Malaysia, they do have the kit, but they have to choose their fights because there's not a lot of access to damage up until to the point that Miku does get farmed up.
In this early stage of the game, it seems like the Eve really is making its mark. Hani's so low before these fights are happening. We're not even level 4 yet.
Again, for Vietnam, they are a bit lacking in terms of damage. Definitely with the burst, as much as possible for Daisy, the real-world manipulation has to be on point. At the early game, you will depend your damage on the mage because it is expected for Miko to just really farm on the golden. And with this type of lineup for Vietnam, even Ngoc Bay is using tank emblem. So there's no really damage for Vietnam at the early game, but in terms of crowd control, definitely Vietnam will be on the lead. But for Malaysia, they could exploit that weakness, or maybe even that strength.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yep, it's a level 4 right now. Everyone is ready to go right now for Malaysia. But of course, the real world is down. Like Chantal mentioned, it should be used perfectly. It was good for the defense, but not enough to take the turtle.
And Malaysia does secure the first turtle of the game. Great macro and micro coming in from Bunny as well, making sure that he is in the center of everything. And that's how you play XP lane right now in the current meta. You kind of want to be in the center of all the skirmishes, all the early team fights, and just go for this orange buff steal. Phantom execution out for Anatasha. It looks like Malaysia is losing more than they wanted to.
That's going to cost Malaysia here. Nice attempt on the steal to me for the orange buff, but they cost them basically a flicker, which might have been used later on for an assassination. Now, Malaysia has to play defensive.
That is 100-second cooldown with the flicker, and that is perfect timing actually for that turtle objective. By the way, for the side of Malaysia, it was K goal lead earlier, but for this one, we've mentioned about flickers. Even the flicker of Tuma has now been used. And going back to the difference in terms of the hair composition of our players, by the way, Arya is really aware with that type of lineup from Vietnam. I mean, it was a wild charge on point earlier prior the turtle take because Vietnam was just forced to really back away before taking the position on that turtle objective.
Yeah, and now we are seeing Vietnam just asking for a bit of space here in the bottom lane. With Malaysia sending 4 people down, Miku does have access to both Inspire and the ultimate, but will it be enough to survive another day?
These are very mobile heroes right now on the bot side of the map, with a Grok close by with a flicker as well. Miku knows this and read the situation carefully, but because of that, Malaysia will get a lot of gold from his outer turret energy shield.
3 plates, and 10 seconds from now, there will be the second turtle of the game. Malaysia has established proper control around this area, and look at that. Miku, very low in HP here, and the Grok will be able to escape, just making sure that this gold laner doesn't get anything from this rotation.
A lot of pressure from Malaysia's side on that gold lane, and with this 1.5k gold lead, most probably this is majority of this is on the hands of Fafao. It is just 4 minutes and 30, but all the outer turret and the shields the bottom lane has already been taken by this Claude, and the Claude has the average. So imagine the gold per second that he has against Vietnam right now.
Yeah, that's a nice steal on the purple buff. Area has it.
Oh no.
And again, it's going to slow down the progression of the jungle here for Vietnam, and that's just proper communication being used by Malaysia on that engage.
There's such an early invade as well coming in from Malaysia. They're already 2.5k gold lead, I think 5 minutes in. Stealing away that purple is crucial against Mia here. They kind of want to make sure that this Fredrin has zero chance of recovery.
Unli hooks here coming in for the Vietnam squad. Definitely worth a shot. Throw all your ultimates. Get some of that gold in your pockets.
This is actually what we have been talking about on Vietnam's hero pool. Yes, they have the control, but at the same time, on that last kill that they had, it took them 3 ultimates from Vietnam's side just to secure a kill against Malaysia. So right now for Vietnam, they just have to give space for Miko. Imagine the synchronization of skills if everything is just activated on point with Miko already on the item. But Papo is already at level 7, probably 8. I mean, she's level 8 right now.
Arya.
And Arya with a conceal.
Oh, that's a concealed play. We have a wild charge available. Locks down to Hani. With a real world, will slow him down, but not enough to stop the Vietnam retreat.
Quite unfortunate that that she didn't have the Guardian's barrier. Could have been a confirmed at least 1 flicker or 1 kill if she had the Guardian's barrier inside the real world, but can't ask for everything. That was still such a great engage coming in from Malaysia.
Oh.
They're going to be able to convert not only the orange buff from the side of Vietnam, but also an inner top tier turret.
Scary thing about that, Nokbe could have actually been taken down there. You saw how he was moving.
Yeah, actually, and during those moments, actually Vietnam just wanted to go for the trade, but look at the position of Bonnie. He's just ready to defend the turret at the bottom lane, and Malaysia right now is just taking down turret after turret, and even a turtle against Vietnam. So 4.1k leads, that's really huge for a 7-minute game time.
Oh.
And we've talked about the consistency in the real-world manipulations.
These are very early. Engage is being done inside the jungle of Vietnam right now. Miko, good free hit from the back. Actually whittling down the opposition. And everyone's still alive from Vietnam with 2 going down for Malaysia.
Malaysia overstepped there inside the jungle of Vietnam. They basically disrespected the damage coming in from Miko, and they paid the price.
And that is true. Again, we've mentioned the real-world manipulation earlier that is being utilized by the Valentina, right, of Malaysia. But at that moment, there was no IMU real-world manipulation from Hani. Rather, it was Daisy that went in for that beautiful box against Malaysia. As to why the energy eruption was effective for me. Perfect setup with the cuddles on the map, even the go away from the side of Team Vietnam. It is just Team Vietnam fully aware of the possibilities whenever there is a team fight, if they are complete, and there's a hook for Chuma.
Oh, Chuma with a beautiful hook on the bunny. Again, knocked up and slowed down and pulled back by the energy eruption means that Bunny will fall.
There's no way you're surviving that. But looks like
Oh,
Arya
the
gonna go with a
beautiful wild charge.
3-man wild charge. Gonna go in with a puncture and the Thor Bros. And looks like Malaysia's gonna strike back. Chuma gonna go down in the real world, but Fafau on the back lane will be taking down the Malaysia with a double kill. But Hani will get a triple instead. A wipeout for the side of Malaysia. This could be it.
Just when we thought that Vietnam has the upper hand in terms of crowd control and setting up plays, Arya was aware that the majority of the ultimates of Vietnam wasn't really available during that moment. As why she used again that wild charge in the middle of the second turret, taking or having 3 players. No way.
Oh, that was a beautiful hook. 2 times the charm. Actually, no. Twice the attempt on the escape was slowed down, and Inhibitor even actually lives.
Yep, and that Inhibitor turret, 1 more shot could have sealed the deal for the side of Malaysia. But Vietnam, I forgot that it was still very early on in the game. The death timers are almost non-existent, so a wipeout wouldn't even mean a GG push at this point. Well, Malaysia does have a 4k gold lead. For the first time in a long while, Vietnam does secure their own purple buff, and here comes another fight.
Beautiful hook, but will be countered immediately by the wild charge. And Ngokbe actually will have the King's Calling down, but looks like it's not going to be a problem here. Too much for the rest of the members of Vietnam to go for the kills. That's a triple.
That was close for the side of Team Vietnam, but it is fully evident that for the team, they already have the damage. All they have to do is just to stick together, be close to each other for every team fight, have Miku do those free hits, and at the same time, activate the King's Calling from Ngoc Bay. Malaysia right now, they just have to be mindful of Fafao's Blazing Duet. Remember, during this moment, Fafa was actually forced to use the Blazing Duet beside Miku, which is the Melissa of the side of Team Malaysia. And during that time, the placement of the Blazing Duet was inside the box as well of Daisy's real world manipulation, so not really sustainable for a Claude to be up front on those type of scenarios against Vietnam.
And the thing is, both of them really excel in fighting in tight spaces, but looks like this will be the space where they fight.
That is a lot of people jumping up and down. Is it for joy? Actually, no. Malaysia just whittling down the HP of Vietnam, but again, Miku is still alive. Honey's for the chase, and the real world goes down. That's unstoppable for
Bunny for 3 and Anatasha already going for the base here. They could potentially go for the push, but the Lord will probably be safer here. They still only have one inhibitor turret down for the side of Vietnam. In Malaysia, they had a 4.5k gold lead earlier, which was cut down to 3k, but I'm expecting that to return to around 3.5 the moment they get the first Lord of the game.
Yep, probably for the side of Malaysia, because after this Lord as well, the minion wave is going to be there for the team. Now at the same time, they will secure this turret out of bottom lane, even at the top lane, inhibitor turret of Vietnam. Now looking at the item actually for the squad, she already has that Wind of Nature. So we saw the matchup earlier against the Melissa, but right now I believe for Malaysia, what they really want to do is again have that wild charge from Arya, go for the Blazing Duet, and at the same time really force Miku to be not part of the team fight. Again, it was a nice setup earlier for Arya, but at the same time Miku went in for the go away, and the rest of the players of Malaysia went inside that dome. And it's as if an added protection against the danger from Malaysia. So it is a difficult thing for Malaysia to penetrate that base or that dome that we've been talking about.
And the Lord will be marching down mid lane. Vietnam, they have to defend against this, and Anatasha and the gang from Malaysia already trying to secure game number 1. Question remains, can they finish it now?
They have
or
to
will
clear.
they go for the inhibitor turrets instead? Looks like the call is to actually go for the inhibitor turrets instead.
Yeah, Lord will fall. For the meantime, Vietnam still quite healthy. Also have a lot of wave clear with Daisy. So Malaysia's gonna have to be creative here with how they take this.
Yep, indeed. Again, with every time that this game...
Oh, the hook goes in! Arya did not expect it! And this is going to cancel on the Bloody Hug, but will not be enough to save the Croc.
Honey.
And there it goes. These are the squares of destiny. As we do see Honey just going crazy on the Valentina.
It's a 3v3 right now, and Fafao and Hani has to go home for now. I think Anatasha does have the Sky Helmet or the Guardian Helmet. He could or she could just go and regen inside the jungle of Vietnam, but Malaysia, they're still ahead by almost 5k here. Does get the inhibitor turret up top, and once again, an inhibitor turret down bot will be one shot away from actually dying.
Immense macro and micro skills actually from our post fights for both teams. I mean, Arya waited for that real world manipulation from Daisy before pushing with the wild charge for the Grok, and at the same time for Vietnam, again, it's really about them with the synchronization skills, the King's Calling, at the same time, even that go away from Miku. So right now for Malaysia, they are a bit struggling again with the DPS, having a Melissa on the other team, but definitely even for Fafao with the... Wait.
Yeah, there's going to be an engaged. Chuma actually is having a hard time making a decision there. Beautiful wall charge knocks everybody out. And again, the damage from the back line of Malaysia is just too much for Vietnam to handle. Although we do see Daisy might be surviving. Anatasha has a different mission in mind here on the bot side of the map. Will it be enough? I don't think Daisy's going to make it in time. The minions are ready to go.
Oh no, I think this is it. Anatasha finds the hole in the defense of Vietnam, and Malaysia will be taking game number 1 of this best of 3. Once again, this is a bronze medal match. They are 1 win away from securing a bronze medal for Malaysia.
Honestly, there were so many moments where I thought Vietnam, you know what,
Yep.
this might be it. Especially with Shuma catching Arya in the second to last engage. Those are the keys, right? Don't let the Grok do anything she wants. Just go ahead and make a play of your own. And Vietnam was doing it until a point where, you know what, Malaysia activated something.
Yeah, actually, I thought that for Malaysia and Vietnam, with this game number 1, that it will be extended up until level 4 Lord, because we saw Vietnam that they really try to defend their base, and they're able to with the skill set that they have, with the hero pool that they have,